Hey, good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. Been a while since my last video, but I wanted to do a quick year-end update of how I've been doing. Markets are open right now. Roughly a little over an hour to go on this New Year's Eve today. So hope everyone had a great 2019 trading, investing, and just growing your portfolio. Kind of wanted to go through my performance, just kind of quick tips for 2020, and I'll definitely make a video soon, kind of my top picks that I like in 2020. Kind of sticking to 2019 and the performance overall in the market over the last couple months. So, as many of you may have kind of encountered and witnessed, 2019 was pretty turbulent between the trade wars and Brexit and slowing global economy. Uh, the Fed, what they were going to do, whether they were going to cut rates, raise rates, keep them the same. There was a lot of going on in 2019 when combined, kind of really slowed down the market. But over the last month or so, really, there's been a solution to Brexit somewhat with the Conservative Party in Britain winning there. So they might be able to speed that whole process up a little bit more. The trade war phase one is being signed January 15th in Washington. So good news there on that front. Fed has kept rates consistent in 3 times in a row, I believe. So we'll see if they start raising them potentially again next year, especially as this jobs market and economy keeps performing well. We'll see what happens overall. But then going back to the trade deal, phase one is going to be signed January 15th. I'm sure a lot of big things are on that side of the deal, such as agricultural purchases, intellectual property rights, kind of the big things that the U.S. has been hounding China over. And then phase two, it looks like President Trump might make the trip to Beijing potentially to sign that second part of the deal in the future. So we'll see what happens. But kind of going through my portfolio here, kind of see live action today. Up 0.17%. Um, Kind of weekly performance, doing pretty well over the last month, 3 months, as well as a year. So really happy about my performance so far this year. Um, as many of you may have known, that especially that watched my earlier videos, I was kind of under that $9,000, $8,000 mark. I wasn't putting in any money actually this year, which I kind of regret now not doing, but definitely gonna have consistent deposits starting in 2020. But just kind of wanted to ride the market out, learned a lot of things along the way, but up over 40% over the last year. And if I scroll down to this SPY index, S&P 500, you can see, it's up over 28%. So, beating the market over that time frame by a little over 12%, which, over the long term isn't really easy to do. Really happy about that. Obviously rebounded really strong after last Christmas Eve, and then kind of, was went kind of flat for like the middle of the year, really, up until October, where things started to pick up and a little more certainty presented itself. But pretty happy about my performance. Kind of going through my stocks here. So, wanted to mention that I did do some tax loss harvesting yesterday and today. I did sell my Afria and Aurora options. Those were 2021 $10 dated calls for both. Really disappointed at how wheat stocks did in general this year, but sold those. But I do plan on getting into them as soon as I can in January. Especially as I pump in a little more deposits in here. But and then today I did sell my THCX ETF, which tracks a couple of the big cannabis companies. To my Actually, it was a nice surprise because they actually paid out a dividend. Or they will be paying out a dividend January 2nd. So that was really nice to see. It was only announced this weekend, so kind of see, I'm getting about a $12 dividend here, so pretty happy about that, but really plan on getting back into this or MJ in the near future. Moving on to my stocks. Other than that, sold off those cannabis options and ETFs. My portfolio has been pretty consistent overall. Looking at 7 stocks here, so I feel it's a pretty good number. not trying to go over 10 or so in this account. Wanted stocks, and it's one of the things that they're easier to track if you have that many. So kind of going on. So let me go to QQQ. So Nasdaq index did really well this year, up almost 25% overall. Biggest position. Definitely would love to add more in the future, but things are at all-time highs right now. See what happens. Gonna start you know, putting in some cash and potentially buying some things that I feel are at a good value. But great long-term core position here for me. Costco has also done really well this year. I'm up on my initial investment. I purchased last summer, I believe. So Costco doing really well. Really happy about them, and kind of got a little overheated recently. So hoping at their next earnings in March, a little more clarity, and I think that it'll continue to run up, especially with the good numbers so far presented during the holiday sales, e-commerce, things of that nature. So Costco doing really well. Moving on to Planet Fitness, also big staple. I've had this one probably one of the longest, my best total return wise stock. Kind of see almost 130% there. 10 shares. Would love to get in another 5 shares or so, but also have a sell point. Ideally, I'd love this to touch 100. Wouldn't mind selling it if another opportunity presents itself. But especially the gym space, people are trying to be healthier. Definitely think it's a good space to be in. So Planet Fitness doing really well, expanding. Bright future in my opinion. Moving on to Apple. So Apple, I mean, big story here over the last couple of months. Apple's just turned it around since those lows. Around Christmas Eve last year, up over 84% over the year, which is ridiculous for a company this size. But Apple's been in the gutters, but once they got out, they came back roaring. A lot of good sales numbers. Their new iPhone 11s were announced, the variations, the AirPods Pro. The Apple Watch always doing well. So, and then I believe their services are about 50% of their revenue, I want to say right now. So services is doing fantastic as well. That recurring income stream is puts peace of mind to a lot of investors, because that's recurring cash flow. A lot of good stuff going on there that they're doing. So Apple, up over 66% on this investment, doing really well. So really happy about Apple. Glad I'm holding. Is it pricey? Yeah, right now, but in the future, I mean, Apple's gonna be dominating everywhere. So, um, you know, yeah, it could cool off a little bit, but I'm expecting pretty good holiday sales in January once earnings come out. I believe that's in January. Yeah, late January after hours. So, Apple is going to be one of those core stocks that I think any investor should be holding in their portfolio. So, moving on to Take Two Interactive, gaming stock here. So, held those 5 shares, done pretty well, up 22%. So also one of those kind of stocks like Planet Fitness. I wouldn't mind swing trading. If it goes up to 150 or something, wouldn't mind trading that, selling to buy something else. So Take Two Interactive there for you. Same with Activision, doing really well. About earlier this year, back in August, but up 20% on that. It was under $50. I think their new Call of Duty is fantastic, selling really well. They're kind of not making people angry with the DLC stuff going on the last couple of years, trying to milk players for cash, all that. So I think they found a good middle ground with that. So Activision doing really well so far. And gaming is going to be huge in 2020. A lot of sponsorships with the professional esports. A lot of good things going on, especially in the chip sector, and internationally as well, where esports is very popular in places like China, Japan, and elsewhere. So Activision there for you. And then Zoetis, pet pharma stock. I've had this for a good while as well, up 44%. Really happy with this one. People love their pets. They're going to buy medicine for their pets. And these guys are the market leader. So definitely have some good growing to do, especially on the international side in South America, places like Africa, where their pricing power can dictate, drive out any other competitors, or they can just purchase any of them. So a lot of good progress from Zoetis. I wanted to buy more around when it was around 118, just so my average could kind of hover around 100 there, but didn't get the chance to pull the trigger. But would love to purchase more in the future. So loving this stock as well. So Watch list wise, following a lot of the big companies, the Cisco's, Squares, Microsofts, Adobe's, Google, Netflix, Facebook, a lot of big companies that can go over in another video. But doing really well this year. Really happy and fortunate to squeak out a good gain here, beating the S&P, and hoping for an even better 2020. So hope you guys enjoyed watching. Let me know what you think about my portfolio. Any tips, suggestions for 2020? What are you guys buying? What are you guys selling? Let me know. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.